And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you're in. Welcome to Marvel's The Amazing Spider-Man. Enough said. So let's get back to it. I mean, the music's gorgeous. I think that's enough said. Of course, I have to do Toby. I have to do it in Toby because he's the best OG Spidey adaptation. But that's pretty much the gist of it. This is not a walkthrough. This is not a playthrough. Guess what? This is the verdict video. I'll just imagine there's imaginary applause coming. Alright. I guess I had to put in my pretty much verdict video. Clear my throat. Getting ready to talk about all of this. Guess there's some birds. Yep, we're just gonna stand like this.
Jared! Call my doctor and double all my prescriptions! I'm in the red here, folks. Eyewitnesses have confirmed that there is no longer just one Spider-Man, but two of them! I mean, one is bad enough, but I'm having a hard time dealing with the idea of multiple menaces swinging through our beautiful city! It's just... Jared, I might be having a heart attack. I need to lie down, folks. No, don't call an ambulance. It's too expensive. Call a cab. I have a coupon in my wallet. Don't go in my wallet, Jared. I'll do it. I'll do it.
That's also one of the highlights. That is really one of the highlights. Is this the tallest building in New York? That's a good freaking question. I mean, it seems like the Avengers Tower is the highest tower. Gosh, I could not time that better with J.J. Johnson doing his kind of possibly last podcast of this game. Gosh, this game is so... wonder if that place is real. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So, without further ado, we're on the verdict video of the Marvel's Amazing Spider-Man. Here's my verdict. Buy it. If you have a PS4 or a PS5, buy Spider-Man. That is it. Let's get back to the game. That's it. Yeah, just imagine I'm wearing a Deadpool mask and just say, why are you still here? That's the end of the verdict video. You can go home. Just go home. And don't leave your trash in the aisle. You would be just a huge dick. That's it. That's the verdict video. Buy it. It gets a recommended seal of approval. Absolutely. Get out of here. I'm serious. Just get out of the video. Okay, now that we fooled people thinking that basically they're out of here and, you know, let's actually do the real video. I had to do it. And I had to do that Deadpool bit. It was necessary. So necessary. Okay, so now doing the actual final verdict of Marvel Spider-Man. Absolutely. If I could give it a 20 out of 10, I'd give it a 20 out of 10. I would absolutely give it a 20 out of 10. This is literally the quintessential Spider-Man experience you have to play. I do not stress that, and I do not hesitate to say that. It's the best Spider-Man game, period. Until Marvel Spider-Man 2 comes out, it's the best Spider-Man game. It's the best Spider-Man game. It's the best Spider-Man game. I will keep saying that to the dawn of time. It's the best Spider-Man game. Enough said, as Stan Lee said. Okay, so But to be realistic, out of 10, it gets a 10 out of 10. The entire experience. Now, the individual OG main campaign, that absolutely gets a 10 out of 10. But the DLCs, I wanted to be like, individually, I wanted to make it maybe lower scores to one of them, but I think it's pretty fair. The City Never Sleeps, across the board, gets an 8 out of 10 for all the DLCs. There were things to enjoy about them, but it's not as like, it won't hold a candle to the OG main campaign. So yeah, absolutely. The whole experience, 10 out of 10. But individually, 10 out of 10 for the OG main campaign. But the DLC, will just combine it. The City Never Sleeps gets a 8 out of 10 individually. Yeah, that's a lot to say that I want to give it a 20 out of 10, but I'm going to pretty much be realistic and give it 10 out of 10. So, let's focus on the negative for really the OG main campaign and also the City Never Sleeps negative too. Yeah, there's actually a negative. It's hard to believe, but I can actually see it, and I hope the sequel and also Miles Morales kind of address it. So in terms of the negative, I will honestly say it's not the side missions, it's the challenges. I'll go a little bit more into that. And yeah, I apologize if this is going to be like close to 50 minutes, but it's Spider-Man. This will easily take me a good 30 to 50 minutes because I'm so passionate about Spider-Man. I grew up with Spider-Man. I'm passionate about Spider-Man. You guys you can tell from my voice, I was excited to talk about this one. I was highly excited to talk about this one. Gosh, I'm so giddy and I'm gonna fanboy out, so I apologize if this does get up to 50 minutes. I can't help it. So it's really the challenges. It got repetitive, and not in a bad way. It's just that it didn't get annoying in the OG campaign, but okay, man, this is gonna be hard because I want to talk about everything that I loved about it and everything that I was slightly not liking about it. I think it was in terms of the City Never Sleeps. Let's do it that way. In terms of the City Never Sleeps DLC, I think the side missions, not the side missions, the combat challenges, or just the challenges, I think we've seen it was done too much. When it was the City Never Sleeps, I think I was getting stagnant, and I think it was getting repetitive when we did the challenges. Not saying that the combat and the activities were not fun. Absolutely, they were super fun for a Spider-Man game. But you could tell that the developers in Insomnia Games didn't really put the budget in terms of actually making side content. It was mostly challenges, and as much as I like doing the stealth challenges, combat challenges, gadget challenges, chasing the bird challenges, it did get stagnant. And even in the main campaign, I hate to say it, I liked how it was executed, but when it got to the DLC, it just kind of got stagnant and repetitive, and slightly kind of like repetitive. Nothing against it. It's not even a nitpick against the overall experience, but the challenges, it just got too repetitive. It's not Insomniac Games' fault, but you could tell that the budget for what we loved about the OG campaign, they just kind of pad the time with the challenges. And the screwball challenges, they were fun, but they were more fun in the OG campaign. So yeah, I think that's why I had to knock the City Never Sleeps. I couldn't give it 9s because it was pretty much the challenges. They were just too much meandering, too much padding. Not like the OG campaign. The OG campaign had a clear focus and direction, and you didn't actually have to do these challenges. I mean, you unlocked all the costumes, so that's kind of worth doing. I mean, that's worth doing, but that's really the negative in terms of City Never Sleeps. I think that's my only negative, because when I was looking at the OG campaign, yeah, I think that's my major negative, because it became stagnant. It was a breath of fresh air in the OG campaign, but in terms of the major negative, It was really the city never sleeps in terms of the challenges. Fun to do, but I'm not gonna spend my whole time, and it shows in my trophies too. But I'm not gonna spend like 90% of my time or 100% of my time trying to get 100% on the DLC trophies just to get 100%. There was one I did, but I'm not gonna spend all that time because I don't want to get a spectacular in all the challenges. I don't think they're worth doing. And I was getting annoyed by Screwball by the time I got to the third DLC. I was just bored with her at that point. I enjoyed her, I liked her in the OG campaign, but I was getting annoyed because they kept doing the same thing. Yeah, kind of like I was exhausted by the challenges, still enjoyed them, but by the time I got to the third DLC, I was ready for it to be over. I was like, I'm ready for it to be over. I kind of wanted to focus on the story, the main story, or just side missions. That's nothing. That's not a nod against Insomniac Games, but I can actually see what Marvel Spider-Man 2 can do, or Miles Morales, if they have done it. Maybe focus more on the side missions and actually have side missions that will automatically give us suits and upgrades than actually just doing the challenges to kind of still unlock that, or you'd have to do them. I feel like the challenges should have just been there for skill and not just unlock the costumes. Yeah, I think that's my nitpick and my negative for overall experience. All right, so let's talk about the positive, which I'm excited about. We're going to start with the OG campaign. So this is the best Spider-Man story, period. And it still continues even from the DLC. The DLC stories are probably not the stronger, clearly, but in terms of the presentation, the narrative themes, clearly Insomnia Games, and I'm actually impressed myself, Insomnia Games did their research for the Spider-Man lore. They literally did a deep dive of the Spider-Man layers and just did a successful and very positively. I want Spider-Man stories to be to the caliber of this. This is my best Spider-Man story. This even, I'm gonna say it's a tie with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, but this is the best quintessential Spider-Man experience narrative, period. You really get a sense of the duality of what it's like to be Spider-Man and Peter Parker. And I like that there was a heavy focus on Peter Parker. When it was just focused on Peter Parker, the game shines. When it was focused on Spider-Man, the game shines in the OG campaign. Pretty much with great power comes great responsibility. It's prevalent throughout the whole experience. You really feel like you're Spider-Man, and you really feel like Peter Parker. You get great background of the narrative. It's strong presentation from the beginning to the end, especially the end. And it really just continues on with the presentation, and it's consistent with the DLC too. I didn't really care for the whole kind of like crime scene openings on that, but when it focused on the story, when it went on that, yeah, it's still consistent and it's great in the DLCs. But we're just focusing on the OG campaign. Great narrative things, great direction of where they wanted to do that. They clearly did their research. They're clearly passionate about it in Soviet games. Yes, I said I was going to be fanboying, but clearly Marvel Spider-Man's narrative is one of the stronger aspects. Without it, this would not be a great Spider-Man game. But with it, it it elevates it to be one of the best PS4 titles, and I cannot stress that enough. I'm excited about Marvel Spider-Man 2 because I like the direction, and I like how it ended, and I like how it started. Everything just has a clear sense of passion and direction that they want to take this Marvel Spider-Man. We call this now the Insomniac Spider-Verse for a good reason. Yeah, I got nothing to complain about the story. I think everything, every locales that we did for every Spider-Man was perfect. I think pretty much I kind of summed up the narrative, and you guys literally can watch the videos of why I enjoyed the stories as much as I can. Even if you're not like a gamer, this will be the Spider-Man story that you can watch from the beginning to the end because my views speaks for itself, and the subscribers I got speaks for itself. People love Spider-Man, clearly. I think I said a lot about the narrative because I know I was going to address the narrative for my Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man verdict, final verdict. I know that. I want to do a deep dive on the narrative, but I think it's pretty straightforward enough, and my videos speak for itself of what's so great about this. They really took time to do the research for Spider-Man lore. Marvel Spider-Man was in the capable hands of Exotic Games, and that's enough said. Now, what's the other thing that pretty much elevated and made this the best Spider-Man experience? The characters. Absolutely the characters. It's not just pretty much Peter Parker and Spider-Man's time to shine. This is the best version, and going forward, I kind of hope that they're to this caliber, or to Tobey's Spider-Man. I don't think we'll ever get this Spider-Man. I think this is the most accurate Spider-Man. I think this is the best comic book lore Spider-Man. I've seen Spider-Man now in new lens, and I love it. This is my best version of Spider-Man. It was Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, but this is my favorite. Yeah, and plus, with the Lawn OG campaign, we're given time to really understand Spider-Man, and they don't waste time. That was another brilliant direction too. They don't waste time doing like Homecoming, where even though I like Tom Holland Spider-Man, but there's a reason why I like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and they just took cues from that. They don't waste time trying to tell us of Spider-Man as 15, that it's been done to death, or his origin story. This is a Spider-Man who's been at it for 8 years, and it clearly shows. And they don't waste time of just telling us the origin story. They just show us a day-to-day of what it's like to be Spider-Man, and I think that's a brilliant choice. It just made me kind of like latch on to this Spider-Man more than the other Spider-Mans, and that's saying something. Along with that, we have pretty much MJ. Even though I know my friend wasn't pretty much like MJ, I felt like the chemistry between Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and MJ was perfect. Sequences playing as MJ, that's kind of part of the gameplay, so I guess I gotta say that. But I felt like MJ was a brilliant addition to already pretty much diverse and fun cast. So yeah, MJ was a highlight too, and her sequences were pretty much perfect. I think she was a great foil to Spider-Man, and I like the history between them. You could tell that they have great chemistry. That's another thing. Along with that, the introduction, and I can't deny it, Miles Morales. I really latched onto him. I really liked Miles Morales before Marvel Spider-Man, but Miles Morales in this game, I will say, I like Miles Morales Into the Spider-Verse slightly more, but I really am excited of what they'll do with Miles Morales. I think he had a perfect origin story. This was technically his origin story, with his dad dying. I guess that's a spoiler alert, but yeah. But this is technically Miles Morales' origin story. If they set that up for pretty much Peter Parker to die, I hope he doesn't die. I hope it doesn't die. But they set up Miles Morales to be the new Spider-Man. I think that would be a very interesting and very unique, and I think they could do it. I think they could. I just like Miles Morales so much in this game, and I really am excited to play his game after this game. He was likable. He was dorky. He was intelligent. I could get behind him. I could see if he ever replaced Peter Parker as Spider-Man, I wouldn't be disappointed. He had a great first introduction. And that's just perfect examples of what makes the characters cool. They took what we liked about them in the comic books, translated them, and they just put a modern spin on them. Yeah, even though the Sinister Six, besides Dr. Otto Octavius, great villain by the way, but that's what they did pretty much in a brilliant direction and very smart for Insomniac Games. They took characters that we already knew what they were like and just put a new modern spin and just a new unique spin. Even new characters like Mr. Negative and Yuri. Those were highlights too. All the characters stand out and they're great across the board. They're all having fun with it. That's pretty much it. And you know why these characters are so fun and I highly enjoy and I want to know more about them? Because there are layers to them. It's not just layers to them. They're just generally a fun cast to be around. Voiced very well. I'm gonna put that with the characters. All of them, across the board, are voiced extremely well. From pretty much Yuri Lowenthal killing it as Spider-Man. That's another reason why this Spider-Man is my favorite, because Yuri freaking Lowenthal kills it in this role. But it's not just him. It's the guy who I know plays Morton Solace, and he was from Darkness 2. I forgot his name. But he plays a perfect Otto Octavius. Now going forward, Alfred Molina from Spider-Man 2 was my favorite Otto Octavius, clearly. But this one is pretty much... I still like Alfred Molina, maybe slightly more than this Otto Octavius. I think he was a perfect one. But this one, they took their time, and it was smart to take their time, because you don't want him to become Otto Octavius. You really don't want him to become Otto Octavius, so by the time that the ending, it puts a new, unique, and very refreshing change of pace for this Otto Octavius. He's voiced very well. There were some moments that I was like, dude, you are killing it in this role. And even though Laura Bailey pissed me off as Abby, she does extremely well as MJ. I like Laura Bailey. I just don't like her as Abby. But every other role, when it fits to her or teeters to her performance, she kills it. And she kills it as MJ. It was a highlight. I liked her as that. And I know I'm gonna butcher his name. Nadir, or maybe his name is Najib for Miles Morales, kills it too. Everybody across the board puts out an A-list performance. That includes Aunt May too. Maybe not the side characters, but when it's just the main performances, just the main characters. Every single body has A-list performances. Even newcomers. Even like newcomers. Just like Miles Morales, or just like, let's just say May, but I think she's been around a couple of years. The voice acting is top notch. It's up there. I don't think it's Mass Effect up there, but it's up there. It's really one of my favorite. But especially Yuri and the guy who plays Otto. I don't know his name on the top of my hand. Everybody. And that includes J.J. Johnson. Darren D. Paul. He kills it. Every line is given comedy gold. And it's just to the point. But the highlights, the one you're going to really walk away from, is Yuri Lowenthal and Otto Octavius. Their performances are the best. And I hope we see Otto Octavius in the sequel. I hope we do. But they got Tony Todd playing Venom, so yeah, I think he's gonna kill it. Tony Todd as Candyman playing Venom. I never thought that would happen, but yeah, Insomniac Games picked the perfect actor to play Venom. He's gonna kill it. I know he's gonna kill it. I hope he does. I'm excited. I really hope he does. Just hearing Yuri and Tony Todd in the same room, that's gold. That's gold. That's pure gold. Okay, so clearly I like the voice acting, the characters, clearly, because I'm a Spider-Man fan. Obviously. Might be biased. Don't care. Now, in terms of another positive of the OG campaign, straight up, John, and I know I'm going to butcher his last name, Paciano, he was a perfect person for Spider-Man. From just emotional moments to just light-hearted moments to dark moments. He has the perfect rendition of the Spider-Man main theme from the opening screen, from the opening menu to the ending. The guy knows when to add a cinematic flair with his music. I think he's the perfect guy to do music for Spider-Man, and it just shows. The guy was clearly passionate of doing the Spider-Man main theme to slower moments, to melodramatic moments, to lighthearted moments. His music swells, and it fit the cinematic moments and hide it, especially towards the ending. They couldn't find any perfect person to do the music for Spider-Man. Clearly. Credit goes to him. Like Bear McCreary is perfect for God of War, John Pisciano is perfect for Spider-Man. I just can't see anyone else doing Marvel Spider-Man. He's the guy to do it. Maybe there's one guy, maybe one guy, the guy who does Metal Auto soundtrack the early days. But no, John kills it. John Fasciano kills it. I'm curious of what his musical rendition of Spider-Man. He's going to remix it. He's clearly going to add familiar themes from Marvel's 2018. Or sorry, Marvel's Spider-Man PS4, but same thing. I'm curious of what he's going to do in terms of musical rendition or how he's going to remix Marvel Spider-Man 2. I'm probably going to like it even more. I guarantee I'm going to like it. Yeah, credit goes to, I had to call out John Fasciano's music, and I know this is going to be longer than 50 minutes or close to it, but no, I can't. His music, it's just, I loved it so much, I immediately downloaded it on Spotify. I'm curious on what he's going to do with Miles Morales, because I know there's going to be a hip-hop, but still Spider-Man thing. Yeah, I know he's going to kill in that, but this one is one of my favorite Spider-Man soundtracks. In a long while, I haven't heard a lot of really just awesome Spider-Man soundtracks besides the Sam Raimi first three. But yeah, obviously, I'm pretty much going on the John Fasciano soundtrack bandwagon a lot. Yeah, it's a headbanger. Special mention goes to the soundtrack. I think I pretty much summed it up. Another positive. Of course, it's the gameplay. And I would show you, but you've seen hours and hours of web swinging. From the transversal to the actual combat that harkens back to Batman Arkham series in the best way. Without the Batman Arkham series, the Spider-Man combat would have been fleshed out. But because it existed, we have great combat. And it tailors to how Spider-Man combat should. It's perfect. You know that meme of Homelander saying, like, it's just perfect. Perfect. But down to the last micro detail. Yeah, that's how I felt. I felt like Homelander when he said, it's just perfect. Perfect. Yes, it was perfect. And so was the web swinging. This is the best web swinging since Spider-Man 2, and it is my definite version of how Spider-Man should swing. If they do web swinging that cool for like future Spider-Man projects, I'm on board. It's my favorite web swing. And why they did it? Because it's just felt like Insomniac Games did the research of how Spider-Man should swing. From doing the tricks, when I actually unlocked that, to his pretty much charge jump, to pretty much web swinging in between the rails for those towers, to just web swinging in general. It's such a tranquil and such an exciting moment. It's a blast from the opening and to the end, even to the DLCs. It's a highlight. It's such a highlight, especially web swing. Even when it's in the cinematic moments, web swinging is the best part of it. It is the best part of the game. Period. It's such a great experience. It's such a blast every single time. But not just that. I gotta acknowledge the gadgets. Go Gadget Spider-Man. All the gadgets they're so diverse and innovative. They can tailors to your Spider-Man experience, period. If you want to pretty much have them go into suspension, pretty much in like a Matrix move, you can do that. If you want to electroshock them, you can do that. If you want to spider bots, which you'll have plenty of time to do that in this OG campaign, along with the DLC, you can do it. All the gadgets are super fun. And it really feels like it harkens back to the Ratchet Clank of how fun their weapons were in the Ratchet Clank series. Insomnia Games were the perfect people to do that too. It's just, there's so much passion that went into the gameplay too. It's a brilliant blend of the narrative and gameplay. I am not disappointed. I'm highly shocked of how well they did the gameplay. It scares me of how perfect it is. So yeah, you have perfect web swing, you have perfect combat, along with perfect secondary gadgets. That just makes it perfect. Enough said too. Like Stanley said. Yeah, I just can't say anything more amazing than that. did not mean to make the pun, but I think it's pretty freaking appropriate. Yeah, I think the gameplay is enough too. Even the quick time events were not annoying. I mean, God of War, their quick time events are just perfect. I have nothing to complain about. This quick time events too, they felt right too. They were not annoying, not like some quick time events. They felt appropriate and cinematic. Very appropriately cinematic. So yeah, I love the gameplay. Even if the challenges got stagnant and repetitive, the gameplay held up. Even to the beginning to my pretty much 63 hours of across the board. Okay, so what is my last positive? I think, oh, yeah, the collectibles. I'm going to show you the collectibles. We'll put it as its own positive category because it's worth acknowledging. The upgrade system, the gadget upgrade system is, yeah, it's worth acknowledging by itself. I'll show you. I'll absolutely show you because I know you guys went 100% with the collectibles. Not the gadgets, probably. I don't think you got 100%. I was close. But yeah, pretty much. The Easter eggs, like when Spider-Man is fighting Mr. Negative, that second round, and he tries to do a Spider-Man 2, but it doesn't work. Great moment. But Easter eggs like that, or freaking Stan Lee showing up, that hit hard too. And then when they honor him in the silver lining, positive. Yes. All great feelings all around. So, Advance, here's the costumes you can unlock. The Advance suit. This suit. I'm gonna show you in quick glances. I don't remember this being part of the Spider-Man lore. Ben Reilly freaking Scarlet Spider suit. I'm showing you everything. It is basically my video and my channel, so of course I'm showing you all the spider suits. And this is including the DLC, of course. Spider-Punk suit. And I'm glad it's in the Spider-Verse. Yep. Of course, the famous, and I'm glad he's in the movie, Spider-Man 2099. The Iron Spider, which I love. And Ghost Rider Spider. They even have the actual vintage 19... Oh my gosh, Spider-Man's that old in terms of the series. They even have the vintage Spider-Man. They didn't even have to do that, but I love it. They even have pretty much Spidey in his undies. Freaking hilarious. They even have a Homecoming. That's why I'm showing you everything. They even let you keep the final suit from the final boss from the OG campaign. Yeah, that's why I'm showing you guys every freaking thing. And then this is where the DLC starts. Right here. Moment of silence, because that's why I'm showing you all the freaking characters. I guess anime Spider-Man, I never seen that one before, so that's new to me. Cyberport Spider-Man. Of course, Into the Spider-Verse, I love that. The OG Tobey Maguire Spider suit. Fantastic Four one, I never seen that one before, but I think I heard of it. Of course, Far From Home. And Far From Home again. I'm glad they promoted it. Andrew Garfield's spider suit. I don't know if this is supposed to be a samurai spider suit, but hey, here we are. And the armor advance. Of course, I'm playing the OG Spider because Toby for life. But yeah, it's just so much Easter eggs and the suits. And there's even there's some photo ops that with the mods. That's also with the gameplay, you can pretty much tailor your Spider-Man to whatever you are and to your playstyle. And the game doesn't even harp on you. It doesn't make you regret what playstyle and what mods and what costume. It just feels like your own Spider-Man experience with the gameplay. And I love that. I love that the game doesn't pretty much like, no, you can't use that for this. But no, it lets you play whatever Spider-Man costume and whatever Spider-Man fandom. The fan service and Easter eggs are perfect for this game. I think that's enough for itself. And the last positive experience, it's the ending. Pretty much the duality, pretty much Peter Parker confronting Otto Octavius towards the end of just how he threw away his humanity and just screwed Peter in the worst way possible was such a brilliant duality of what Spider-Man could be like if he continues the path of Doc Ock. It really just sums up Spider-Man's lore and his DNA to his core. It was such a great scene. I love that scene. It speaks about Spider-Man and just in its fundamental value. So yeah, I think the ending definitely deserves special mentions. I've been playing a lot of recent games with great endings, like Horizon Zero Dawn, another example. But this one is another ending I highly enjoy. You can even watch it because I enjoyed it too. And then Aunt May's death, that one was done with such emotional gut punch, but with emotional depth and necessary for Spider-Man's development. It was. Gosh, it was an emotional gut punch. I think Aunt May was, yeah. With after that scene, I think it was the perfect scene to end it. It was a hard scene to watch, but I think it was the perfect scene to end this story. That's why. This is going to be the best Spider-Man experience and the best Spider-Man story. We're just not going to get a lot of like this. And sadly, movies are at a disadvantage that they had to do like 2 hours and they can't put their entire Spider-Man experience. But the advantage of a game, they can do layers and they can do hours. They can take their time, like a Netflix show, to show everything about the Spider-Man experience that they want us to experience in zombie games. So here's my imaginary clap and pat on the back and thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. Yeah, the OG campaign deserves a 10 out of 10 out of itself. I know what my nitpick is, and I already let you know. There's not really a lot of nitpicks with this too. It has great setup for Miles Morales and Marvel Spider-Man 2. It just has great setup. I'm excited of where they're gonna go with this. Now, I'll make my The City Never Sleeps pretty short because there's not a whole lot to talk about. I already told you what my negative is. The negative is really The City Never Sleeps. The positive, I like that there's more focus on Yuri Watanabe and also Silver Sable. I like that there's more focus on that. I like that Miles Morales is pretty much being trained by Peter Parker that's leading up into a brilliant setup for Miles Morales. I like that. I like that we are getting pretty much, it's not like a whole lot, but I like that Miles Morales is actually getting training. I love that. I like that brilliant setup. And I like how it's overlining ended because it's leading directly to Miles Morales. But I like that there's a heavy focus on Yuri, who I'm not familiar with the Spider-Man villain Raph. I have to look it up because I'm not familiar with Raph. But I like that Yuri is becoming unhinged, and it was leading up to it because we saw it, but then we saw it on full display because she really kept it really hidden, and I like the police recordings, especially in the Silver Lining when we got the police recordings and what she did. I like this version of Yuri. It just make her. I already liked Yuri before. It just heightened her to. I don't know what she's going to be like in Marvel Spider-Man 2. They could do two things with her. They could either make her an integral main story mission, or they could easily make her a side mission. It'll be interesting to see her in her Raph persona. I'm going to have to do more research on that. But I'm excited what they're going to do with her in Marvel Spider-Man 2. And, of course, I can't not talk about Black Cat's brilliant introduction, too. It's not probably... It's DLC, but for the short time that... It's kind of one of the Easter eggs on the OG campaign, too. She was a highlight, too, when in the collectibles and the pretty much... Oh, man, I didn't mention the collectibles, but... Yeah, the collectibles for the highs, and especially the OG campaign, were fantastic too. It was another Easter egg, but I guess the costumes and the Easter eggs are kind of part of my positive for the OG campaign. They just continued that in the highs, but Black Cat's backstory collected through paintings, and then find out that Officer Mackey is her dad was brilliant. I loved every single moment of that. But when we got audio recordings or kind of constant calls like that, that's where the DLC shine. So if I had to rank it, it would be definitely Silver Lining because of the police recordings and Yuri's unhinged personality into her wrath personality. That was pretty much perfect. I felt like the new introduction of Black Cat properly. Yeah, I can see why Spider-Man was pretty much obsessed and has a relationship with her. Because her introduction was done well too. Her dub by Erica Limback was fantastic too. The new characters were done well too. Hammerhead was still great too, but not as great like as Tombstone or like Otto Octavius. But in terms of his story into the DLC, yeah, he was actually a legit threat, and I actually appreciate it. He was pretty great. Keith Silverstein just voicing him, I thought that was pretty great too. Voice acting, the game does not hurt on. The voice acting, Marvel Spider-Man does not hurt on. So yeah, in terms of the DLC, what it also did well too, I like that there was more focus on Screwball, and she actually did change it up. The challenges are becoming stagnant, but the presentation, still the combat, the new costumes were a highlight too. And the introduction of Black Cat properly and Hammerhead were all across the board pretty great. The only negative was pretty much the challenges were becoming stagnant because we saw it in the first DLC and they just kept pretty much making it mandatory to unlock all the costumes, and it was freaking annoying. That's really my only negative of the whole experience. So yeah, I didn't have a whole lot to say about the DLC because it's just basically it's DLC until we get Miles Morales and Miles vs. Spider-Man 2. It's padding, but still good padding. I don't think it's worth buying at full price or buying the DLC price. No, I don't think The City Never Sleeps is worth buying. I think the OG Marvel Spider-Man, just by itself, is worth buying. But if you want to pretty much get the backstory and all that, yeah, don't miss The City Never Sleeps. But buy it at a discounted price, or just watch YouTube videos of it, just to catch yourself up to speed, because it's not necessary for Miles Morales, but it's good lead up to Miles Morales, because he's getting, like, minimal to big training to actually official training from Peter Parker. And I like their chemistry, too. I like the chemistry between Peter Parker and Miles Morales. And I'm excited of what they'll do in Miles Morales. That's pretty much the next plan. So, I know I overtalked. I know this is probably up to 50 minutes, but guess what? Marvel's Spider-Man PS4 is the best Spider-Man game ever. It's the best experience. That's why I said buy it. Yes, buy it. And if you want the complete edition, you can definitely do it. But it's not necessary. It's pretty much a 20 out of 10 experience for me, but it's a 10 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10. It's a great experience. You'll love it. You won't cry, but you'll love the whole experience. It's classic Spider-Man done right. I want Spider-Man projects to pretty much references or to continue to have experiences like this. This is the best Spider-Man experience. Enough said. Said by Stan Lee, God rest his soul. So, you can definitely leave a like, comment, or subscribe, or let us know what your favorite pretty much Spider-Man game is. It's this one. But yeah, that sums it up. So, what's going to be the schedule for this, pretty much for my YouTube channel? It's going to be more focused on Star Ocean, the first Ocean departure. I guess we could just say Star Ocean, the first one. Yeah, we're going to try to focus on being that, but let's face it, it's an RPG, so I know for a fact I won't finish it. I'll be probably close to finish it, but I won't finish it. Shenmue 3, unfortunately, we're going to have to focus on that, try to finish that. You know, I won't be hurt if I don't finish it, but I have to at least try to finish it so I can give a verdict video. Same for Star Ocean. But after those two, then we're going back straight back to Horizon Zero Dawn, the Frozen Wild, to finish that, because I gotta finish that, so I can play Forbidden West. That's kind of a next to do. And then after that, for Marvel Spider-Man, if basically there's no game that's leaving PlayStation Plus Extra Premium that I actually give a crap about, we're gonna go straight to Miles Morales. Abso-freaking-lutely. Miles Morales. That's my next game for Marvel Spider-Man, and one of the big three after we get done with Star Ocean and Jim 3. It's gonna be Horizon Forbidden Frozen Wild. Let's just do that after that. Then it's gonna be Miles Morales, finishing that, and then waiting for finally Marvel Spider-Man 2. And then the next one is going to be Elden Ring, but I think I'm going to substitute that after I do a little bit of Elden Ring, because I know I'm not going to finish that forever. I am never going to finish that until I have the time to dedicate to that. Returnal. Returnal is going to be the third main game. I'm excited to play that one because I already know what I'm going to give it, and I love every second of Returnal. And after we're done with Returnal, then it'll be Ghost of Tsushima will be replaced one of the games. Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. We are going to do games that come on PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium when they're announced. So whatever they're going to be, absolutely I'm jumping on that. But the major focus is going to be, for the next couple of days, Star Ocean and Shenmue 3. Unfortunately, I had to put my head down because I really absolutely don't like Shenmue 3. There are minor things, but I really don't. But hope you guys enjoyed the Spider-Man PS4. I'm excited of what we got coming in the future. So, of course, swing away and stay tuned.